right, a beautiful afternoon. Welcome to the Favors Showing Up Problem. The buzz. I am Ruth Blossom. And of course, it's a Monday. Happy Easter Monday to everyone, and of course, happy Easter holidays. Well, we're here as usual to talk about what's trending and what's buzzing on social media, and of course, current affairs on the state of the country. I'm not doing it alone. I have my beautiful co-host, me, Patricia. Good morning. Good afternoon, rather.
Sorry, good afternoon. Nice to have you.
All right. So basically we're talking about a whole lot of things. We'll hopefully be able to talk about some training videos also because we have a lot of training videos that trended over the weekend and we'll be taking all of that. But before that, I have an amazing guest. I'm gonna start from I won't say this is the first time meeting him, but let me say this is the first time sitting with him on the bus. And of course, there's no other person. He's a public analyst, is also the head department of mass communication at the Institution of Journalism, and he's an amazing person. We have Dr. Judy in the building. It's good to have you. Good afternoon, sir.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me, and happy Easter to our viewers all over the world.
Okay, and yes, we have our table breaker and table shaker as usual. We have Femi Chacha Emmanuel, who is a public analyst and of course a politician also. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show, and it's a pleasure sharing this platform with Dr. Jide. It's a pleasure meeting you in person. And let me also commiserate with the Catholic family for losing the Pope. And then we hope that as it transits to the world beyond that, someone else taking over from him will take the Catholic family to the next level.
Okay, so all right, we have the first story for today, and the story, of course, it's about the Lagos collapse building. Would you say something about that, Patricia?
Oh, it was a sad one, really. And so it was a collapse in Lagos over some days ago. There's a multi-story structure located on Oremeji Street in Berger, access of Lagos State collapsed this Saturday morning, half Saturday, trapping an unspecified number of people remain detected.
Well, that's a very sad one. And of course, there's a lot of updates in that, but there's something very striking, which is what the commission has said. And of course, he revealed the causes of why Lagos building collapsed, which I'm going to read just a little bit. He explained that the building in Ojudu-Bega area of the state collapsed, and of course, because it was abandoned without plastering for a very long time, which likely weakened over time by moisture. He also emphasized that the area was suitable for commercial activities taking place beneath it. Now, this is something I want to say, is it trying to say that every building that collapsed? Because we've seen building well-structured, plastered, people are staying there already, and of course, there is a collapse. So we are wondering exactly if that's actually the reason why buildings. Is that an excuse or that's just the reason? I'll start with Dr. DJ. What's your reaction to what the commissioner said, and of course your reaction to this building collapse that happened on Saturday morning?
Building collapse has become a recurrent feature, which I believe we never experienced while we were growing young. While we were young, while we were growing up, it's become, you look left, right, and center, and you wonder there are multi-agencies of government responsible for regulating building construction and the rest of it. Despite having these multi-agencies in the past, you used PW, Public Works Department, and then the later LPW that used to regulate building. But I can't even count on my two hands the number of agencies that we have that have to regulate, and yet you have a lot of, and then you're having a lot of building. It's as a result of lack of due diligence and lack of not giving the required approval that is required for people to build. There's a lot of cutting corners that goes into getting approval to build in this particular structure. And some of the structures, you wonder how they got approval for some of these structures. And I said it, the only way we can deal with these issues, who was the engineer that gave the approval for that building? Once people start to lose their licenses, they will think in the interest of public interest.
True. Very true. So if you are trying to go against what the commission said, that's not the reason why.
That's a political statement. It's a commissioner. It's an appointee of. It's a political appointee.
About the things that you buy to construct structures, do you think they are fake, or because fake things are being sold in Nigeria? Do you think that could be one of the problems too?
Emmanuel, can you please respond to that?
I want to share a little experience. When, I have a school and we were erecting certain structures. I was taught by some of my other senior colleagues that it is best I buy sand and buy cement and call certain people to make bricks or blocks for me and tell them, yes, to mold for me and tell them how many I want per bag. Otherwise, it won't be as strong, especially because it is somewhere where kids will be running around and they may end up hitting stuff. And so that's when I found out that some people use a bag of cement with sand to actually make 60 blocks, 6 inches each. While I was advised not to do beyond 35 if I really want.
So definitely making the beauty.
So quality. But you because some buildings have money. They just contract this building to certain who also want to get their own costs. So if he approved for 20 million, you find out that the engineer in charge already cut off probably 5 million for himself. Then he's finding means to cut costs across board as regards all the other people that and they also want to cut costs. You want to tell the people to supply you blocks that okay, you need 5,000 pieces of blocks 6 inches and so pieces of 9 inches because you are arguing with them that you are buying in bulk and you need certain discount. This will reduce the quality of what they want to send to you. But the end result is actually we, the tenants, the users, who probably were not there when all of these things were happening and end up being victim of collapse. But does that mean the government cannot do anything? No. That's why I agree with Doctor that if building collapses and the first thing government agency does is to ask for the license of whoever gave the engineer. Then the engineer also talks, so people.
It has an architect. All of those that are involved.
Get all of them involved. So if there are consequences, the problem we have in this country is that there are no consequences. Or those that should suffer consequences actually know people in the corridors of power that can help them waive whatever consequences.
When government itself is the major breaker of law, in the sense that I give you an example. Ikoyi was not designed by planning to have skyscraper. Ikoyi was designed to have one-story building. Look at what has happened to Ikoyi. Ikeja GRA was not designed to have skyscraper. That's why you won't find drainages in Ikeja GRA. If you grew up in the 60s, in the 70s, and in the 80s, and you understand this environment that I'm talking about, go and look at how the physical environment of those areas have been destroyed as a result of government approval to what is not the initial design for such areas.
So, but who is the government that is approving this?
The government, you and I, the people that we have elected and the people that we have appointed to responsibility. So the real solution to this problem is for us to have consequences for bad behavior. If people begin to lose their licenses and they can't practice either as an architect or as a building technologist or as a civil engineer and the rest of it, and then you know that once I construct a building and the building collapses, that means that there's no more job for me. That's when we make progress in this country.
If we go like that, hate will roll. Because these people will also call people from the government, from the offices of the government who had approved certain things to go ahead to build this.
The truth is, I think it has to start from you and I. And every private entities, if you give out a building contract to someone, let them sign. As soon as you let them know that you want to take them you will hold them responsible if something happens to the structure, because you will be, that money you don't want to spend, you end up spending probably ×2 or ×3. So why not take time to spend that money now so that you can have something that lasts for long? So once they know that you are going to drag them, you are going to hold them responsible, you are going to make sure that their licenses is lost, then you find out that you will have few people will only want to work with you, but the truth is you have the real people working with you.
Okay, I want to ask Don Jude a question. Before that, I want to make a very big welcome to our viewers also. You can actually be part of the show. Of course, Emmanuel, please display the number below the screen TV. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so you can be part of the show. You can call in, you can send in text messages, but please, while you're to indicate your name and where you're calling from or where you were texting from. So, today, the question I want to ask is, now we have seen some buildings where they want to repackage, or how they what's that word? Remodel a building. Now, they are not demolishing the whole building. They remodel, you see, they take out the windows, they do some structuring. I feel like this thing actually makes the building also weaker. Do you think it's actually nice? Because we deal with bricks. Do you think it's part of the reasons why we have some buildings collapsing? Because there's a remodeling, and trust me, you are making some, I don't know, some changes in some areas.
Adding to that, I've seen buildings that caught fire. And instead of bringing these buildings down completely, they cut off some corners and then they try to remodel. Do you think that building can stand strong?
Yeah, the height of a building is determined by the depth of the foundation.
Okay.
And we are celebrating the resurrection of Christ Day. And scripture says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? There's nothing you can build on any wrong foundation. Now, when you remodel a building, have you dealt with the foundation of that particular building? And that's why you've seen so many. It is not even peculiar to buildings by private entities, even by government establishment, by government institutions. If you even look at into construction of roads and the rest of it, you see quality control must be the watchword of whatever we do with respect to building houses in this particular area. And I think, for me, I might be wrong, I think the attention of government is about revenue generation. It's about revenue generation. It's about generating revenue from people that wants to build. There are different kind of levels of payment people make. And once those payments have been made, do we go ahead to ensure that there is compliance with the regulatory requirement before you construct such, he said something. Now, there is material testing. At every phase of building houses in Lagos let me talk about Lagos, there are different levels of agencies that will have to comply. Yet, buildings are collapsing, even the ones that are handled by major construction company. What has happened to the building that collapsed in Ikoyi 2 years ago? What have we heard of it?
Nothing.
What have we heard of it? It's just we move on with it. Nobody lost his licenses. Nobody was prosecuted. Some people lost their life. Have their family been compensated? You think that will happen in other crime and those families will not be compensated? And that those that are involved in the construction review will have lost their licenses? We only reward bad behavior. There are no consequences for bad behavior.
Okay. Now that's pretty deep.
Very deep.
It's very obvious that like you said, what the commissioner's statement, it didn't sit well with me, but obviously what our guest has said, that seemed like a political statement. But for a fact, we've analyzed why we have a lot of collapsed buildings in Lagos. And I see that it's more of Lagos having collapsed buildings, which just means that everybody wants to build without taking their time.
A lot of building and collapsing in other states too.
Yeah, it's just that we have so much media attention on Lagos. Yeah, we have so much attention.
Okay.
Let me also keep this in.
Okay.
I actually also feel that the way you do something is likely the way you end up doing everything. When you are nonchalant naturally, it tends to affect how you do other things. So the average Nigerian do not like due diligence. If you are questioned in the name of due diligence, you begin to feel threatened, or you feel like you are not probably loved, then people begin to bring different coloration in why they are being questioned. So until we remove such bias and take a stand that we as Nigerians, we are the ones we elect people from us into politics. They are representative of us, and sadly, most of these bills that the elected or the civil servants exhibit is what average Nigerians actually tolerate or do in their normal ambience. So I'm of the opinion that while we can continue to hold our leaders accountable, when individuals begin to I'll give a good instance to round this up. I had the opportunity to walk into a bank and I found out that one of the students I had taught long ago was deported at the counter. And because she cited me and she was, oh, please, Mr. Fem, please come. But I had close to like 11 people on the queue ahead of me.
But why you excited she called you forward?
I was excited, but that means I'm not preaching I'm not doing what I preach.
Right.
So I had to tell her, can we find a way to split this but someone else wouldn't have cared. Someone else wouldn't have cared. So I had to beg her, can you find a way? She had to go drag a colleague. You know, sometimes they just go inside and be gossiping. She went to drag a colleague because I insisted. Then they split the line into 3 so that I cannot be top in one of the lines. But the truth was that everyone benefited. And you saw the way everybody was clapping.
Nice.
That's when I knew that until some of us begin, I said that's a privilege, I'll just walk out whenever. But no, that does not make me righteous. But I'm just giving natural instances. That if some of us begin to take our stance, you will find out that, and don't want undue privileges, you will find out that it's easier to hold our leaders accountable, and an average Nigerian will do the right thing.
Okay, all right, thank you. Because we're talking about beauty, we're supposed to go over to the next topic, but there is a video I saw trending this morning, and of course, it was I don't know, they used the word Abuki, Hausa, I don't know, but they were actually there. They saw the guys who did that. They actually destroyed a property, a building in Edo State, and of course, we know what's going on in Edo State already. But of course, before we react to that, let's quickly watch the video. It's quite a long video, but we'll just watch maybe a half of it, and we'll come back to the studio to react to what we just watched. We'll be right back.